Good morning, Taste Buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. It's the holiday based on eating, Thanksgiving. Join me for part 2 of my It's Time to Get Ready for the biggest day on the culinary calendar show. This time, it's food for everyone and anyone. Today on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Thanksgiving all. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Welcome to SoFlo Taste and welcome to the Goya Kitchen here at JA World in Coconut Creek. And if you're experiencing a deja vu during that opening welcome, don't worry. It's how I opened last week's show, because this week I'm giving you more recipes for the 4th Thursday of November, Thanksgiving. So with the big day on its way, let's get cooking. I thought it would be kind of interesting to make food for those people that are kind of anti-turkey. So instead of doing turkey today, we're gonna cook these insanely beautiful New York strips, and I'm gonna make a stone crab butter. These steaks and of course stone crab are available right now at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, and they want me to tell you that there's still time to order for Thanksgiving. They have sides, they can help you with everything, and it just makes your life so much easier. You can call your order in now and pick it up curbside if you want to. They're at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Go to DelawareChicken.com or call them 954-983-6831. Place your order, tell them I sent you, send them my love. All right, so let's talk about these steaks for a second, because I wanted something really, really thick, and I asked them for 1.5 to 2 inches. So let's go ahead and sear these beauties up. Looking at a steak this big can be rather daunting, but because it's a special day, it's Thanksgiving, we're gonna show you how to sear a steak. So right now I have olive oil in a cast iron pan, and now I'm adding a little bit of ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. It's just such a great fat to cook with. Just so you know, over here I'm cooking the beginning of a beautiful casserole that I thought would be fun also for Thanksgiving ideas. So these are oyster, cremini, and shiitakes are in here cooking right now. And I wanted them all to be cut a little bit differently to give them all a little bit of texture. I'm gonna cook both of these steaks. I'm gonna go ahead and season them with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. And this is a big, big steak. It's over 1 pound, so make sure you season it up really well, or it's just gonna be a shame. So let's go ahead and put them right into the fat. Now there's not a lot of fat in there. That's not even 1/4 inch of fat, just so you know. When I say fat, I mean like the oil and the ghee. I love using cast iron for my steaks, mainly because it just really holds on to the heat better than pretty much anything else. All right, so these mushrooms are cooked. I'm just gonna make sure that they're not sticking at all to the pan. And we're gonna use the same pan all the way through to make this casserole. Let's go ahead and just put those mushrooms in a little dish. I've seasoned the mushrooms, just so you know. They're seasoned with salt and pepper. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to the pan. And to continue cooking this casserole, we're gonna add some very tiny diced fennel. And one of my favorite things that I don't think people use enough, leeks. The one thing I definitely wanna do is make sure that I have enough salt on the other side of the steak before we move on. Okay, try to gather a lot of the fat from the bottom of the pan, and slowly but surely keep pouring it over the meat so that you get a sear all over as you're cooking. This is really the way you want to cook your meat. If you have the time to do it, and if you're not too afraid of it, the cast iron is a little bit hot and heavy, but if you can do it, there's no better way to cooking meat than this simple trick of just pouring the hot fat constantly over the meat. All right, let's move around our fennel and our leeks a little bit. So just so you know, this is a simple reduction. It's the beginning of our sauce. This is tarragon, shallots, and peppercorns reduced down with white wine and either champagne or white wine vinegar. I reduced it down in a pan, and that's what you have right here. Smells like tarragon. It smells delicious. Come right back You know what? Hold on. Let me flip my steak before you come back. I want to see how this looks because I'm going to go right in the oven after I do. So give me 1 sec. Oh yeah. So we're going to flip the meat. Okay, so I flipped the steaks over and I'm going to put them into a 400-degree oven, and more getting ready for the big day after the break. Come right back.
There's still more from the Goya Kitchen at J.A. World and Michelle.
Now let's check in with our Melinda Harper.
The holidays are near, and if you want to give the gift of delicious, check out Edible Arrangements. It's fast, easy, and with multiple stores across South Florida, it's convenient. Hi, I'm Melinda Harper for SoFlo Taste and Edible Arrangements, and we're joined by Katie Benderi, owner, and she's here to tell us what's new for fall. Katie, what can we expect?
Okay, well, when you think of fall, the first thing that comes to mind is Thanksgiving.
It is.
So we do have our gobble gobble platter, okay? And one of the great things about it is our turkey.
Now, you said you've got a turkey dipped in chocolate. That's not a turkey dipped in chocolate. What is he? Is he a pineapple?
It's actually a pineapple dipped in chocolate, and it's got the cutest little eyes on it. It's adorable.
Kind of don't want to eat them, but you know, I do love, the one thing I love about the platters here is you can come pick up a platter if you're on your way to a party.
We're open 7 days a week, and we are open on Thanksgiving, and you can call, place it online, or just swing by for grab and go.
So another great thing about your platters, you get a discount when you come to pick it up.
Yes, so if you place your order as a pickup order, you get 20% off select items for the fall. And we have plenty for you to indulge in. We have our bake shop, which has cupcakes, cheesecakes.
Yummy.
And right now a new product that is here is our red velvet cupcakes.
Delish.
And you can add it onto a platter or just order it alone.
Right, so you can be good and bad.
And bad, perfect.
That's great for the holidays. Katie, I love the platters. They're so fun and so cute, but what else do you have for customers that might be looking for something a little different?
So a great option and a go-to would be our boxes. We have several different kinds with all different kinds of dipped fruit in it. You can add balloons, you can add popcorn, you can add plenty of different things to these bundles to make them so much better.
Katie, what else is new for fall?
So we can't forget our arrangements. Our popular one for the fall is our salted caramel harvest bouquet. It comes in 3 different sizes, which is great for corporate meetings, parties, and then we also include in it salted caramel apples.
That is so delicious. I have to tell you, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love those.
Caramel, you can't go wrong with it.
You can't go wrong. So if you're looking for something sweet and different for your next gathering, check your local Edible Arrangements. They've got a lot of options and a little bit of something for everyone.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. So obviously I just pulled these gorgeous steaks out of the oven and I really just want them to rest a little bit. So I'm going to put them on the cutting board. So while this rests, let's go ahead and make a quick Béarnaise, the one that I told you is a little bit of a cheat, but just as delicious. And then of course I have some stone crab meat, thanks to the boys over at Delaware Chicken Farm. All right, so I've got a couple of egg yolks here. I'm going to go ahead and strain that mixture I told you about that are just shallots, tarragon, peppercorns, white wine, and vinegar. Strain that right in there. And then I'm just going to give it a good amount of salt now because it'll definitely need it with all that acid and fat that's going in there. A little bit of hot sauce. That's up to you what kind you use. All right, so let's go ahead and start making our Béarnaise. Slowly start adding the hot butter, which should bring this beautiful sauce together. I can see it thickening. All right, here we go. We have Béarnaise, everyone. Let's just put this plate together. I like to slice it up for everyone at the table, but of course you can just give, the steaks on their own. It's really up to you. So there we have it. I'm going to keep this steak whole. So let's take some of this gorgeous crab. The boys at Delaware Chicken Farm will crack your crabs for you. and I highly recommend it if you're going to use them immediately. I am very excited though because I am a Béarnaise lover. All right, so I love a lot of sauce. Let's put a little bit of black pepper on there. Talk about a dish instead of a turkey. This makes quite the statement. If you'll agree with me, I mean, I think that is just delicious. Let's jump back quickly into this beautiful casserole that we were making. But real quick, I just wanted to throw a little piece of tarragon on my Béarnaise because tarragon is obviously the most important part of Béarnaise. There we go. All right, yummy. All right, so let's jump right back into the casserole. I already have the fennel and the leeks that are already cooked. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and add to this pot some chopped up fresh spinach, as well as some chopped garlic, some red crushed chili flake. I have a little bit of tomato paste, not much. It's not even a tablespoon. Go ahead and stir this up. And the one thing that really attracted me to this recipe were the white beans. I'm a lover of white beans, but the one thing I do adore are pureed white beans. I make white bean soup all the time, and the combination of the pureed white bean in this recipe with the whole white bean I thought was just really gorgeous. So the author asks to put a little bit of garlic into your pureed white bean, which by the way, this is just 2 cans of white beans, pureed until super smooth in a blender, a little bit of lemon juice, and I personally would add a little bit of salt to this. Let's puree that just a little bit further. That's that. All right, let's come back to the pan. The spinach is now almost completely soft. We're just gonna shut the heat off. I'm gonna add the whole white beans I told you about, some pre-cooked wild rice. Be careful, a lot of wild rices come with regular rice mixed into it. You want just wild rice, and just cook it according to package instructions. It really cooks kind of like pasta does. Then you're gonna put the mushrooms back in here. Then I'm gonna add the white bean puree, mix it together and put it into this casserole. Come right back, let's work on the breadcrumbs together, and then of course we have more to come. Don't think that this was it, which by the way, if you just point your phone camera at this quick response code, it'll take you directly to the SoFlo's shows page, and you'll also see the QRC on our ingredients lists throughout the show. So tons of information. Come right back. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste, where I am all about Thanksgiving and we are all about JA World. As we always are, we're here at this wonderful facility in Coconut Creek, a great place dedicated to our kids and their future. For more information, go to jasouthflorida.org or call 954-979-7100. Now back to the T-Day food. All right, so I'm actually getting more and more excited about this casserole. So basically what's happening is I'm gonna just finish it off with a little bit of chopped cilantro and parsley and just fold that together. And that goes right into a casserole dish. We don't talk a lot about casseroles here in South Florida, do we? I think we make them, we just don't call them necessarily casseroles. Okay, push all that down. Let's get that out there. Now the best part, I always think, are the breadcrumbs. I love to top things with breadcrumbs. These are panko breadcrumbs. This is a little bit of chopped rosemary, a little bit of grated garlic, some lemon zest, and then finally, a really good amount of olive oil. We're just gonna season that with a little bit of salt, mix it up. The more you add to this as far as flavor, the better this whole situation is going to be. You always want your breadcrumb topping to be really herbaceous. Make sure it always has a nice amount of salt. And then of course the olive oil is what makes it beautifully golden and toasty looking. Let's go ahead and top her off. Spread it out beautifully. And this is going right into the oven. So think about it. You've got those creamy beans and the crunchy topping. No matter if you like your veggies or not, you're gonna love that. So I'm gonna pop that in the oven, and then we're gonna start the last dish, which I think is great to make with your kids. Okay. So I was making roast squash with my son the other day, and he loved scooping it out and how interesting and how soft it had gotten after it had cooked. And I thought this would make a perfect soup for the kids to make and feel so proud and give them so much ownership of the Thanksgiving table. So I suggest you make this with your kids. Obviously you have to cut the squash, and I've given you a choice of pretty much all the squashes that are out there for soup. You've got kombucha, you've got acorn, and butternut. All we did was cut them in half and take out the seeds. Rub it up with a little bit of olive oil. You can use butter if you want to, brown sugar, salt. We threw some thyme, whole pieces of thyme, underneath the squash, and just roast these at about 400 degrees until they're really good and soft. But let's go ahead and jump into the soup. So take a little bit of butter, or you can do oil, or you can do a little bit of both. It's up to you. I'm gonna add the tiniest bit of olive oil because I love the flavor as well. I've got a small amount of shallots, the tiniest bit of ginger, and a little bit of garlic minced. I've got some hot chicken broth in the back. Just go ahead and stir up these beautiful aromatics. And it's really, really so simple. I mean, this really should only take you about 20 minutes to 30 at the very most. And use any or all of the squash. I've already gotten a little jump on it, but basically just scoop out. And if you get a little bit of the peel, it's not a big deal either. You're gonna puree the soup afterwards. I'm gonna take some of this beautiful butternut. I'm even going to use the acorn. The acorn is really the creamiest one, by the way. I would say that acorn, out of all the squash, makes the best soup. Then we're going to add the broth. And because everything is cooked, this is only going to take 15 minutes. Barely cover everything, barely cover it. There we go. All right. I'm going to let this stew for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. That's all it really needs. And then when you come back, I'm going to show you how to decorate this with the children, make them feel very proud of themselves, and of course, what a great starter and finisher to any meal. Come right back. Welcome back to our Turkey Day show, not so turkey filled. So the last thing I had just made was a beautiful soup that I truly feel you should make with the kids, or of course on your own, because it's so simple and so delicious. So this really only cooked for about 10-15 minutes because everything was really already cooked. So I thought it would be kind of yummy to add a little bit of cream to this. It is a holiday after all. So I'm just going to add a little touch of cream and then buzz it up with my stick blender. And this is the part the kids really love, is to use the blender. You can also put this into a regular blender if you don't have one of these. So this was my favorite part when I was little. I remember serving this soup to my parents, thinking that they'd never seen anything so beautiful before. So let's go ahead and serve the soup. Always balance squash soups out, like I said, with a little bit of sugar. Brown is my favorite, and a little bit of salt. You can even puree a little butter into it if you're in the mood. And then throw a little bit of sour cream into a little squeeze bottle and let the kids make their little decorations. This is the one I did when I was a kid. And then you can take a little knife and kind of looks like a spider web. And then we've got some pepitas, which are toasted pumpkin seeds, right over the top. And I truly believe that this is something not only they can get into making, but also eating, because kids really do love squash soup. I mean, it's a little bit sweet, a little bit salty, and very homey. Lastly, let's take a look at our casserole. I'm usually all about steak, but I have to tell you I'm most excited about this one. The garlic and the breadcrumb is really just popping out at me. Let's give ourselves a little taste of this. Oh, this is so pretty. Wow. I hope these 2 Thanksgiving shows have given you some new ideas for your holiday table. Next week, I'm still celebrating. This time, it's the 8 crazy nights of Hanukkah, and especially those 8 crazy nights is the food. I'll give you some of my family's favorites that you can adopt into your family too. So taste buds, I give thanks for you spending your Saturday morning with me. I love sharing our time, so be smart, be safe, and be vaccinated, and I'll see you next week. And please don't forget what this holiday is all about, giving thanks. Goodbye, and good taste.